You are looking live at Zenny Abraham on a Wednesday evening, July 9th, and yet I'm really not happy with Kirk Cousins running to the Atlantic to complain essentially that he was misled by the Atlanta Falcons. That basically, and I'm paraphrasing, he didn't know they were going to draft Michael Penix. Let me put it this way. Kirk Cousins knew that there was talk even significantly before the NFL draft. Kirk Cousins knew that there was talk that the Falcons would draft another quarterback to play behind him who was younger. And at first, the thought was, okay, maybe they'll get this quarterback in the second round, third round, or fourth round. The Falcons probably thought that Michael Penix was going to be available then, because there were a number of people who believed that Michael Penix was a third rounder. I didn't. Or a second rounder. I didn't. I believed from the start that he was a high first round NFL draft pick. Okay? There are a number of people who held these opinions about Michael Penix because what it boiled down to is they hadn't seen his complete repertoire of games, unlike those of us on the West Coast or who are West Coast oriented who did. And so here comes a situation where the NFL draft starts. There's a lot of flotsam and jetsam flying around about different quarterbacks, but the feeling was that while Michael Penix was improving and his stock was going up because of the pro days, and in particular his 4.4 40, that he was still going to drop to the second round, and it didn't happen. The Falcons realized, first of all, that even though it may have been a better idea to go Georgia defense, that reports on Cousins' availability or lack thereof projected forward were starting to concern them. Kirk Cousins was not the healthy specimen that the Falcons were led to believe he was, and thus invested a guaranteed contract on him, where they gave him $60 million, $100 million, no problem. Don't give it back. We're not going to seek it in any kind of way. This is yours. Come and play for us. Don't worry. Okay? You don't do that to a person if you believe there's a chance that they're going to be late to camp, not up to snuff, not completely healthy, or maybe there'll be concerns that he's available at all the first season of his contract. You do not invest that kind of money when you're looking at that scenario, all right? That's not something that's done. That's not something that's done. I repeat, that's not something that's done. And yet the Falcons did it because, again, they expected Penix to be in camp 100%, throwing lights out, rolling out here and completing passes, rolling out there and completing passes, and so on. The reality was that, hey, Penix was fine dropping back. Everybody knew he was rehabbing. Penix was fine dropping back, but he wasn't fine rolling out. Here we are, 4 months before training camp, and your assumed star quarterback cannot effectively roll out and throw. Well, that is a situation the Falcons were staring at, and 4 months before the start of training camp or OTAs puts us before the NFL draft. And so here the Falcons are saying, wow, what is it that we do? What kind of escape hatch do we have? And they had none except to draft Michael Penix at the time. And that's what they did. And it was a great choice. I cheered. You can see it here at Zenny62 on YouTube. type Michael Penix NFL draft, and you will see me sitting down at my seat in the NFL draft press conference room. When it was announced that Michael Penix, I just yelled. There was a guy behind me giving the X sign, like, oh, bad deal, right? It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But how Falcons fans were torn about the possibility of Atlanta taking Michael Penix in that number one spot for the Falcons. Not number one in terms of position, in terms of NFL draft, but their number one pick. With their NFL draft first round pick, were the disagreements were legion, okay? And I'm glad they did it. Because what happened was that they got Cousins. There were questions about Cousins throwing velocity that dogged him in camp and through the first part of the regular season, and became question marks when he started throwing 1 interception, 2 interceptions, 3 interceptions in a couple of games, when his performance was subpar. They were offset for a time by scintillating contests against the Bucs, where he threw 513 yards and led a comeback victory. All right? With the help of the defense and the special teams. But through game after game last season, it was becoming increasingly clear that Kirk Cousins' lack of great health, lack of great being in shape and conditioning, lack of being the person they thought they paid for, was becoming a liability. And so it was only a matter of time that Michael Penix came in, and he came in. And Kirk didn't like it, but you know what? Let me ask you, Kirk Cousins, did you like it? Did you actually even think for a moment how RG3 felt when you were drafted in the 4th round of the same NFL draft? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The 2012 NFL draft, where you were taking the 4th round, RG3 was taken in the 1st round just right after Andrew Luck. And he was supposed to be a heir apparent, and yet because he was a running black quarterback, you had Kyle Shanahan and some of the funky bunch that later made up some of the greatest offenses that have been created in NFL history and written about in Mike Silver's great book, the greatest book about modern professional football ever written, called The Why is the Thing. Before all that happened, it was Shanahan working with his dad, Mike Shanahan, who, in my opinion, had a weird thing about black quarterbacks. Just my opinion. I would love to talk to him about it. I'd love to be wrong. My point is that Mike Shanahan did not handle RG3 properly. He had a black offensive system. I'll use this for my black running quarterbacks, but in my conventional passing QB quarterback system, I'll put in Kirk Cousins. That was some BS, man. But that's what he did, okay? I'm trying to tell you that's what he did. It was wrong. I said it then, and I'll say it now. So how does it feel, Kirk Cousins, to be on the other side of the coin? With a big difference. There's no change up in offense because you're white and he's black. It's just the offense. Spread out a little more to fit what he ran at, Washington. But it's the offense. Not asking him to roll out, not asking all these special things. It's the offense. The Falcons we're not going to cut you. They're not going to let you go. Enjoy it. You've got a ton of money. Act like you're grateful to be there. Be helpful to Michael Penix. Be the man that the Falcons need you to be. That's a great thing to do. But please, stop this whining. It's not the first time Penix has done this, folks. It's just that it's nationwide. Around here in the Atlanta metro area, Falcon fans are used to it, and they don't like it. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark NFL News by Zenny62.com. We'll see you.